So, as you're probably aware by now, an inquiry is continuing into what happened in the 1970s and 1980s when infected blood products were given to an unknown number of people, with 5,000 haemophiliacs going on to develop HIV and hepatitis. It is estimated around 3,000 are thought to have died as a result. If you're wondering what this inquiry is, it's the one where John Major said they were unlucky. Well, Andy Burnham, who is, of course, the former health secretary, gave some evidence yesterday, and he said quite the opposite to saying that they were unlucky, saying that there could actually be considered charges of corporate manslaughter here, and even he thinks that there was some form of cover-up. So the Mayor of Manchester, I'm pleased to say, joins us now. Thanks for joining us, Andy. Just to give a little bit of background to why you said the things you did.
So I have been looking at this issue over a number of years. People may remember I worked on Hillsborough, and with Hillsborough there was evidence of amended police statements, and that helped me unravel the whole thing. And when campaigners asked me to apply what I knew about Hillsborough to the terrible issue of contaminated blood, to get underneath the blanket line from the government that nothing wrong was done, I started to talk to victims. And one said to me that they had her husband had been diagnosed with hepatitis C from contaminated blood, but nobody had told them for 17 years, even though it was on his medical records. Somebody else said to me that their husband's medical records had been falsified to say that he was an alcoholic and therefore to blame for his ill health when that wasn't true. And I then started to come across countless examples of people whose medical records were deleted, withheld, people tested without their consent. And that has, in my view, opened up the truth, Ian. And the truth is that this is a situation where the Department of Health was grossly negligent of the safety of the haemophilia community in this country in the 70s and 80s.
You go further than that, Andy. You say civil servants misled ministers about the risks for decades.
Yeah, there was, John Major did say this in his evidence, that in effect there was a fear of the financial exposure of this. You quoted the numbers at the start, but that can never be the driving factor, can it? You know, you've got to kind of start with people whose lives were ruined through no fault of their own, and then left with all kinds of challenges as a result of that. But that never was the starting point. It was the fear of the kind of financial cost of helping these people. And civil servants tried to hold the line for years that nothing wrong happened, that there was no way the department could have known. Well, it's not true, Ian. These were blood products from the US. So basically where donors are paid, unlike here. And actually prisons were used to gather some of this blood. They were products about which everybody knew there was real risks. And yet we carried on importing them here. And that's why I say it is that serious. The Department of Health was grossly negligent when it comes to people's health. And therefore there is potentially a case for corporate manslaughter. What I definitely know to be the case is that the department's lines just simply couldn't hold up. They had me writing letters to people saying that nobody was ever knowingly given an infected blood product, but I think that is a highly misleading statement, and I made that clear at the inquiry yesterday.
You know, with your experience of Hillsborough, how long these inquiries take and how many it seems to take before somebody actually owns up. This one's been going on for 4 years. I don't know how long the Grenfell one's been going on for. Is there any way of shortening these things, or is it important that it takes this long to investigate and find the truth?
Well, the process itself, sadly, does have to take some time to get to the truth. But let's get the real position out here, Ian. This goes back to the 70s. So the 70s and the 80s when these products were being imported and used. And then all of that time since where the people affected, thousands of people have died as a result of this. Lots more have had their lives ruined. So this has taken 50 plus years to get to this point. And why does this happen in this way? I'm afraid we have a system where the odds are stacked against ordinary people. the powerful vested interests in government departments or public bodies hold all the cards, they hold all the access to the information, and they often pull the shutters down, push the public away, leave them in the wilderness for all of these years. And we've seen too many examples, as you say, Grenfell, Hillsborough, contaminated blood in this case, but another huge unresolved issue of nuclear test veterans, British service personnel in the 50s exposed to nuclear tests without any PPE or indeed any prior knowledge or consent. So this keeps on happening. It's a pattern, Ian, and it says something about the way we're governed in this country. And it's one of the points I made at the inquiry yesterday is we need a Hillsborough law to stop this happening. A duty of candour on all public servants, on civil servants. Will you tell the truth at the first time of asking?
So will you try and introduce something like that when you finally become Prime Minister?
Well, I'm not sure that will ever happen, but I am trying to introduce it, working with current members of Parliament. We've got an event next week, actually, with Andy Burnham MP. Myself and the Mayor of the Liverpool City Region, Steve Rotherham, we've proposed a Hillsborough law now over a number of years. And I will fight from whichever position I am in. I will fight to make this change.
All right. Well, I'd be remiss of me as a journalist not to ask you what you made of the Tory party leadership debate on TV. Please say you saw it.
I was travelling back from London on a train, so I'm not just avoiding your question.
All right.
I wasn't hearing great reports coming through on my phone. It has to.
Who do you want to win?
Pardon?
Who do you want to win it? Who do you want to be the next Prime Minister so that you've got a good chance?
Oh, I don't. It feels a bit none of the above, to be honest, Ian, to me at the moment. I mean, I have been impressed. Let me at least say this. So Penny Mordaunt, when she was Paymaster General, set up a study of compensation for contaminated blood victims and has created an expectation, actually, that they may now get much greater compensation. Sir Robert Francis, who did that work, made his evidence to the inquiry on Monday, and he said it should be paid now at least £100,000. So I've written to all five of them today and said, look at what Sir Robert has said. There is absolutely clear case now to act. And I'm waiting for one of these five to come out and say, yep, I'll do it as Prime Minister, because that will tell us what type of character they are. And I'm still waiting at the moment, Ian, so that's why I say none of the above at the moment.
All right, mate, I haven't even got time to ask you who Everton have bought this summer. Thanks for talking to us.